Hello, 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 and welcome to the Chronic Health Collective. This isn't just a community, it is your fresh start. We have gathered the best coaches and experts to help you reclaim your energy, heal from the inside out, and live with purpose. So, whether you're longing for more energy, deeper healing in your relationships, or a life that feels more aligned and fulfilling, you are not alone. Welcome, everybody. I am so excited about today's show. We have a special guest, Jamyrin Edwards, and we're just going to jump into it with him. But before I do so, I want to let you know that he is a quantum integration and embodiment coach who guides creators who are at a crossroad between a quantum leap and their highest timeline. So they are ready to make that quantum leap into their highest timeline in their highest expression. He is the quantum initiator that you call, that you hire when you are ready to stop repeating cycles of integration and transition from one identity to the next. And let me tell you, those are not just words. I have had the absolute pleasure, privilege of working with Jamyrin as I have been working through clearing some blockages in my own life. So everything that we're going to go through today, I have experienced myself, and that's why I had to have him here. I'm just going to kind of stop there, and Jamyrin, tell us a little bit about you. Welcome, first of all. I'm so excited. Let me calm down.
Well, first off, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited for this opportunity to connect with everyone in the Chronic Health Collective, and I'm very, very excited for this conversation that we're going to have today.
Yes. Okay. So let's get started with a little bit about your journey. How does one become who you are? So tell us what led you to this work and this way of being.
Well, it's very interesting because when I was younger, my ideal dream, I thought I was going to end up working in like hospitality management. Because like when I was 5 years old, my mom asked me what I wanted for Christmas. And I drew a 10-story hotel, and I was very serious about my hotel. And I had laid out what I wanted on each and every floor. And I remember I had gave her my Christmas list, like, yeah, so I want this 10-story building with a Taco Bell on the 7th floor. I want a bank here. I think I want a homeless shelter. And so she got me some Legos. So she saw the vision, and I was still able to build, my imaginary hotel. But like, I just kind of felt like I knew I wanted to like help people or impact people in some way, shape, or form. And like, I just didn't know how. So fast forward, I'm in my teenage years. I'm graduating high school. I was performing really well at this local restaurant that I was working at. So they ended up promoting me to management by the time I was 17. So I didn't necessarily end up in like the hotel industry. I still ended up in like the hospitality management industry because I ended up in restaurant management. And so I went on to do restaurant management for about 8 years. I was like really, really good. I made it up into like assistant general manager level at that particular company. And then I started to bounce around, and I'm going to explain to you why. So around the time like I was like 19, after starting off into like my career, which I thought I just knew I was going to be a restaurant manager. I told myself I wanted to be a district manager by the time I was 30. Like I really admired like my the upper management at the company I was working at. I just knew I was meant to lead in some capacity and, helping people to like, eat and have a great experience when they're out with their loved ones. It was fulfilling something within me at the time, but it eventually ended up becoming unsustainable for me, because I started to experience an internal awakening and internal shifts that I didn't quite have the words to like express. I just knew that something was like bubbling beneath the surface, but I just couldn't really quite consciously grasp what was taking place. So fast forward to when I was about 19 to 20 years old, because, restaurant management can be, a little extensive on the body, the long hours, the commitment, dealing with people, just those different types of things. So what ended up happening was, I started to kind of get a little overwhelmed internally, even though I was very, very good at my job. I started like getting very, very overwhelmed. And so I think that's what kind of like guided me or pushed me to start like partaking in like some type of meditative practice, or at least like some type of like mental health or like mindset approach. And I didn't really like, I knew about meditation. Like when you speak about meditation, some people, they're either like really geared to it or attracted to it, or some people it just naturally finds them, or some people's like, no, I have to have some type of meditation practice as a part of like my natural daily or weekly routine. But like for me, I'm young, I'm kind of fresh out of college. I really wasn't thinking about or wanting to sit and meditate and like digress with myself, but I got to a point where I didn't really have a choice because I just could not find an outlet for like the tension that I was like experiencing internally. So I ended up kind of accidentally kind of just stumbling into meditation. Like it was very surface level, it was very basic, and I found that like it was helping me to just sit with myself, observe myself, and kind of gather myself and like really hear myself. It felt like I was making space for a part of myself that wanted to be expressed. And at the time, I thought that I was just, incorporating this this process into my routine to give me some mental clarity. But it really like planted the seeds of the journey that I am on now, because it started helping me to elevate into like higher states of awareness and higher states of consciousness. Ended up happening was I ended up kind of having like what I would consider a spiritual awakening around the time that I was 20. It was like right in the middle of like my restaurant management career. And what ended up happening is as I started, like, I didn't know I was having a spiritual awakening. Now I do, but back then I just thought like, okay, things are happening. And so what ended up happening was, as I kind of was starting to walk this path of like this spiritual awakening, my vibration started to increase, my sensitivity started to increase. I started becoming like more sensitive to energy, people's. I started being able to kind of see people's auras and like colors. There was just a lot of things that was taking place. And I got to the point where like my body, like the restaurant management career timeline became unsustainable for my body. It's like my body just didn't want to be in that environment anymore. And it was like a very disheartening for me because I loved doing what I did. Like I was like the baby manager of the company. I was the youngest manager on the management team. I started out 17. So it was like, it kind of like shaped my identity and like how I saw myself. And so to feel myself disconnecting from that, what I thought was going to be my career was very confusing. It was very isolating. And so I went through this period where I could not keep a job to save my life. Cause like I would quit them. Like I would just quit. I would walk out. Like I couldn't handle the energy, the vibrations, which was confusing for me. Cause I'm like, I used to be able to like handle this environment. And now it's just, there's a disconnect and I didn't really know what was going on. And the people around me didn't really know what was going on at all either. And so what ended up happening was I ended up at first I started thinking like, well, you know what? It's the environment. It has to be the environment. It's the people. It's this. Like I started placing all these different external, I'm not going to call them circumstances, but I was just like, nah, it's the job, it's the environment, it's the restaurant, it's the clients, it's the this. So I job hopped around Michigan to different, I literally got hired at almost every restaurant because I would start the positions and then I would probably last anywhere from like 2 weeks to like 2 months. I would never make it through the training programs. And now I was very good at interviewing because I was a manager. So I knew how to get in the door, but I could not stay once I like made it through. So what happening was after job hopping for 3 years, I'm like, I just literally was like, I cannot apply for another job. I even got to the point where I applied to 2 jobs because I knew I was going to quit one. So I tried to have a backup plan. I tried to have a backup plan, and then even that didn't work. I ended up quitting them both. So I'm like, okay. By then I'm like paying attention. I'm like, maybe it's not meant for me to have a job. I used to love. It's not like I didn't want to work, but what I think what was happening was what I now know I was quantum leaping into the timeline of where I am now, and due to me being initiated on my spiritual awakening path and journey, things were really shifting. My timelines were shifting. My reality was shifting. My relationship with myself was shifting. The expectations that I had placed upon my path for myself prior to my awakening was all collapsing. And so I didn't really have an outlet or like, I wouldn't necessarily say a voice of reason because by then I'm like 25. I didn't really know what was going on. My family thought I had lost my mind. They was like, you just keep quitting your jobs. That's so unstable. And I'm like, I'm not doing it on purpose. It's just like, I can't stay in the environments. And so I just leave. And so it was I will be honest, it was a very depressing and confusing time for me because I didn't know what was going to happen next. So I ended up starting to kind of just connect to my creativity. I didn't really know how I was going to make money. I just knew I needed to do something. So back then I started doing artwork. I started doing poetry. I tried to write a book. Like I was trying to do all these different things. And then with something very interesting happened. I was speaking to one of my friends in California. And one of her astrology friends was on the phone and she was like, let's just look into your chart and let's just, see what's going on. And so she ended up discovering that I had really in-depth tarot reading skills and gifts. And I didn't really know I could read tarot like that. Like I had some tarot cards, like, but it was my relationship with them was very generic. Like I would pull a card, I would look at the book, get the description, get the meaning. So I didn't really know that I was actually as good as I was. And so when we had that call, and she spent about 4 hours like really dissecting like my chart and like gifts that I incarnated into this lifetime with, and things that I've mastered. And like, you know, a lot of people don't really resonate with past lives, but just gifts that my spirit brought into this particular incarnation. And so she was like, you know, you're a master at tarot cards. And I'm like, really? She's like, yeah. So they challenged me like, okay, well, pull a couple cards for us. You know, see what you see and don't use the book. And so I did, and I was actually really good, and I read them to a T. And then that's pretty much how I transitioned to establishing, like, that was like the baby seed of like my online business, because then I started doing group readings and group tarot readings for the collective. So then I started to like gravitate an audience online around the globe of people that really resonated with like my messages. And it was just very interesting because my tarot reading skills is, for the most part, I would consider the foundation of my spiritual business that I've established now. Because it was like the first core gift that I connected to that was authentically mine. You know, it was something I could just easily do. And so from there is how I got my name out there. And then since then, from the time I was like 26, I'm 33 now, I ended up establishing a global platform where I have clients in each and every content. I'm speaking in like content. I have clients in each and every continent that I connect to, you know, on a daily basis. Some people ends up working with me. And it depends on what their intentions are, which will set like the duration of the time that we end up spending together. But I do have a global clientele where 90% of my clients are all online. I do in-person offerings, and I do connect to people in person. And prior to COVID, I was a little bit more active with like in-person events. But then once all of that happened, I kind of just went really online. And now I'm like, for 2026, I want to shift back. But for the most part, this all is what kind of led into what I do now, because what ended up happening to me when I had that spiritual awakening, and then I got to the point where I couldn't keep a job to save my life, there was a lot of pain and there was a lot of internal processing that I was experiencing. But the thing is, I never knew what to do with that pain. I absolutely thought it was normal. I thought that everyone just walked around with that internal pain or that darkness or those shadows, and that was life. I'm like, oh, this is normal, because I never knew what to do with it. So what ended up happening was, when I was around 26, I think I kind of had like my first internal conscious integration where like some pain or like some stuff came up in my body and my nervous system, and I like mentally cleared it, and I felt myself feel better, almost like I got like some form of therapy or like some type of rapid psychological healing. And I paid attention to like my mood elevated, my outlook, like my energy felt more heightened, I felt more lighter, and I had never felt that or had that relationship with my body. So it made me curious. So I'm like, I'm not supposed to just be, because what happened was, when I would feel those dark moments before, when I would have my jobs, I would literally quit my job and go home and like wrap myself in my blanket for like 2 to 3 days at a time, and I would just sit in it, because I'm like, I don't know what to do with this heaviness. And so what ended up happening was, as I had my first conscious experience of moving those energies or moving that pain or like alchemizing them, transmuting them, there's a lot of different words that you can like describe for that process. Like I said, it made me hungry and it made me curious, because I'm like, I felt better once I cleared that. I'm about to clear all of this stuff. And so like I just then started to kind of gravitate myself. I would consider, when I first started off, because I knew what I was doing, but then I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew that what I was doing was working. So I'm like, I'm about to just stick with this. So I started gravitating myself to, I would consider them surface level approaches, because I really didn't know much about, I just knew that this is what I'm doing in this routine, it works. So I started gravitating myself to surface level approaches. And what I found was that as I was clearing things and I was elevating my energy and I was shifting my mindset and I was recalibrating my subconscious, and I didn't really know anything about nervous system recalibration and a lot of the tools and like the terminologies that I'm going to further explain with what I do now, I didn't really know the name for this stuff. So it was just kind of like, you know, playing it by ear for the most part, but I knew I was feeling better. But at the time, I didn't realize that each time that I was clearing that like big bulks of those shadows and those energies, my timelines was shifting. Yes. Now, I was noticing that as I internally started to shift myself, my external reality would start to kind of match. It was like matching my growth, like the people that was coming in, the people that were leaving out. just the way that I felt, and just different things like that. So that's kind of like the basis of like it sparked my curiosity because it made me want to know more. Now, fast forward to today. Like I'm very much established in my position. I'm very much established in my tools and my practices. But over the last, I want to say it's been about 9 years since I kind of started my own integration journey. I've been able to kind of equip myself with additional tools like EFT tapping and breath work and nervous system recalibration, somatics, subconscious reprogramming, hypnotherapy, light language, sound healing. I do multidimensional energy work. There's just so much different tools that I've been able to kind of expose myself with. And so I basically practice this stuff on myself first, and then that's the foundation of how I like connect to others now.
That is okay. So this is so much, and I know that we are going to get more into this. We're going to take a quick break. I have so many questions, so many things that I want to follow up on, and we'll do that when we come back from these commercials. All right, stay tuned.
Everything we're made of contains light. From the sun that feeds our world to the energy that flows within us. With LifeWave X39, we've found a way to put that light to work. With X39, we achieved something remarkable in the field of wellness and science that others could not. By utilizing LifeWave's unique patented technology, X39 uses light to elevate GHK-Cu, a copper peptide known to support overall health and wellness. Unlike traditional light therapy, X39 uses the body's own infrared light to naturally increase vitality. By gently stimulating the skin with light, our non-invasive, non-transdermal X39 patches help you conquer your active lifestyle and pave a new way to vibrant health. Becoming a powerhouse is easier than you think. It all starts with your body and a little help from light. Place one LifeWave X39 patch on the body. Apply the patch to clean, dry skin in the morning. Patches may be worn for up to 12 hours before discarding. Keep well hydrated while using this product. Harness your natural potential. Reclaim youthful energy. Live long, live well, live young with LifeWave X39. Be the light. LifeWave.
When you look in the mirror, do you see skin that's just dry, tired, and stressed? It's time for a new ritual. Introducing Deep Love, the Blue Botanical Face Cream by Coolness. We've captured their tranquil essence of blue botanicals in a cloud-soft formula that deeply soothes irritation and restores your natural, healthy glow. This isn't just skincare, it's an act of self-care. It's deep love. Find your calm only at coolness.com. Scan the QR code now to visit our website.
Healing doesn't begin in the body, it begins in the spirit. I'm Dr. Jeanine L. Williams, founder of Ancestors Bosom, a sacred space for spiritual and ancestral remembrance. Through intuitive guidance and energy work, I help you reconnect with your highest self and align your spirit, mind, and body with the rhythm of your ancestors. Together, we listen for what your spirit needs. We release what no longer serves you. We restore balance and open the path to peace, clarity, and purpose. My work is supported by spiritual herbalism, plant allies that ground and nourish your transformation. Every session is a ceremony of remembrance, a return home to yourself. Ancestors Bosom, where healing begins with remembrance. Visit AncestorsBosom.com and begin your journey home. All right. Okay. So we are back. So many things. I want to say a couple things that really stood out to me as you were sharing more of your backstory, Jamyrin. Oh, and by the way, we're here with Jamyrin Edwards. You can see his title. I'm getting back into it. I just, maybe I was supposed to do something a little more formal. Forgive me, folks. I'm so excited. So your awakening or this transition, right, that you experience seems to happen a lot earlier in life than maybe the typical healer, right? So you're in your
Yes.
20s going through this, where usually, well, it's been my experience or lots that I've talked to, like, you know, we kind of spend at least a good decade or two in this kind of false career timeline, in this haze, before we finally just kind of, you
Yeah.
know, find our way out. So that's very interesting how you found your way through it. And the other thing that I wanted, that kind of stuck out to me too, and I'm sure to the viewers, is how this has been a lived experience for you. Like, you know what I mean? And so what we're going to get into now, and you know, you tell us a little bit more exactly how you work with clients, and we'll also even get a demo of kind of, you know, of your work. It really is an embodied and lived experience. This isn't, you know, you didn't sit somewhere and just, you know, and read books, and not that there's a place for all of that, but when it comes to that deep healing work, and, you know, and quantum leaping and all of these things, it is not something that can just be entertained by the mind. It has to be something embodied. And so now that you know, people kind of have a sense of your path, I'd love, you know, for you to share exactly how you work with people today. So my first kind of question is, like, what are people often seeking when they find you, you know? And I want to just kind of go there, and then I want us to really get into the kind of the demo, you know, or this and experience that you're going to give us. But who finds you? What are they seeking when they find you? And then we'll transition into you giving us a little taste of what you do.
I've noticed a common pattern. The people that seek me out, they're either seeking some form of accelerated transformation along their path, or they're looking to overcome various obstacles connected to just different aspects and areas of their life. Some people that find me, they're either already on like their healing and integration journey, or some people are kind of just starting off. So there's really not, like, I wouldn't say like, basically I'm like open. There's a lot of different, I pull in a lot of people from different from the spectrum, from super advanced in like their practices to people that don't really know where to start. They just know they need something for the most part. So I work with people in regards to like facilitating that container for that accelerated transformation. And through my own personal journey of, because one of the things that I do pride on why people like work with me is that anything is possible to shift regardless of your point of creation. And that's primarily kind of like where I started, because I was able to take myself from where I was with like a very disconnected career, not really knowing what I was going to move into. And I was able to kind of, at the time I was consciously doing it, if that makes sense, because I was kind of listening to my intuition. But just with the experience that I have, and I've assisted over, I want to say 300 people this year quantum leap themselves into like higher timelines. But I've been working with people professionally, I want to say over the course of like the last 6 years for the most part. But yeah, so like basically, I'm able to, with my unique skill sets, because like I said, I have kind of added, as I've gone along, added more like advanced tools to kind of facilitate these transitions a lot quicker. So for the most part, someone will come to me. I'm able to take a look and to see where they currently are on their journey, what initiations that they may be experiencing, what is the root of the underlying patterns that are taking place in like their external reality, because there's also a connection to patterns that are ingrained in them within their internal reality as well. And I'm able to create a bridge of resonance for them to understand that this is why this pattern or this like experience is taking place, or this is why this feels blocked, or you feel like you can't have forward movement in this particular area of your life is because it's connected to this, and this is what we need to shift. So not only am I able to intuitively read people's energies, I'm also able to energetically, because a lot of people come to me and I'm able to just see exactly where they're at without them telling me anything. And sometimes that it doesn't freak people out. Some people are inspired and some people are like excited, but for the most part, I really don't need any information from you. The only information that my clients give me, but I like to do my process first, because I like to take a look into their energy, their timelines, their patterns, their subconscious, like where their nervous system is, from my own perspective. So information that they're giving me isn't biased. And then once I present them with that information, we speak a little bit about like their goal planning and like their intentions and what they're looking to create or what they're looking to have like some type of forward movement on. And then I'll create like a customized, personalized process for them, and then I help them facilitate that transformation and shift their timelines in their life and reality.
Yes, and listen, and folks who are watching, like what he is saying is, I mean, like when I worked with you, that was the first thing you did before we had minimal interaction. I found you on Instagram, and so I just kind of connected, and and we got booked in for services. You did send me that initial kind of clean read. And when I tell you, it was like this dude had followed me around and took notes and then typed it up and sent it to me. But I knew I was in good hands. And the beautiful thing was, and I think what helped with the acceleration, this quantum process, I didn't have to spend a lot of time giving him backstory. Like you had the backstory.
Yeah, I like to do my homework first.
Yeah, so you're gifting. You had the backstory, and I didn't have to expend a lot of energy trying to, get you acclimated. And so we were able to kind of move forward. And I felt so seen. I do remember that. I felt so seen without me having to have labored to be seen. And so that was also a very beautiful experience. So without any further ado, if we could keep the kind of, you're going to do a group clearing and kind of reading for us. That 5 to 7 minutes will probably keep us on track, and then we'll have plenty of time to debrief in the third segment. So I'm going to turn it over to you folks. Be ready, be open, and let's do this.
So what I'm going to do, the best way that you can prepare is just allow yourself to be open. You can take a couple deep breaths to kind of help relax the body and the nervous system. So I'm going to take a look and do a personalized reading for you to take a look to see what's taking place in your reality, what transitions that you are experiencing, what are the obstacles and challenges, and what just needs to be shifted in order to get you to where you need to go. So we're going to start off with your overall energy. And while I'm providing you with this information and clarity, I'm also going to be energetically clearing energies in the background. So if you do feel emotions or you feel energies or things like transitioning and coming up, we're clearing out those different energetic blockages so that we can shift you to where you desire to be. So this is just like the foundation and like the framework of the basis of the services that I provide, but I also do provide additional services outside of like the tarot readings and energy clearing. So let's go ahead and get started. So today's energy that we have this. Okay, so I have this Queen of Pentacles energy that is taking place. So what this lets me know is that people right now could be experiencing, I wouldn't necessarily call this a collapse, because when people start feeling like a disconnect or like a collapse in any particular area of their life, the first immediate response that the mind has is that something is wrong or that I'm doing something wrong for the most part. So, but what happens is because with the way that energy works, two particular frequencies of energy can't occupy the same space. So anytime you're experiencing like a quantum leap into like your next level, you're always going to have to deconstruct and like integrate the version of you that was in resonance with the timeline of the experiences that you're leaving behind. Now, in this case, I feel like some of this could be taking place regarding people's relationship with like their financials. So there could be like a lot of deconstructing regarding like financial belief systems for like a lot of people is what I'm seeing with like this Queen of Pentacles energy, because I feel like right now you're going through a deconstruction of different financial patterns and a financial identity, to help you to make space to be able to receive and hold more. So I have this Queen of Pentacles energy here that's coming up as the overall energy. Now, when I tune into the frequency of this energy, it's almost like I feel like your nervous system or like your body is looking for like some type of confirmation that it is safe for you to hold more. Now, consciously, you may ask yourself, well, why wouldn't I already feel safe wanting and receive more? And it's the thing is that your mind, your subconscious, and your nervous system, it operates off like a system of like patterns. A lot of people don't realize that we also receive like inherited instructions through our DNA connected to like our ancestral lineages. So a lot of people currently could be having a relationship with their financials that are connected to something in their maternal lineage, or they could be inherited different financial instructions in their DNA connected to something that was in like their paternal lineage. In this particular case, I think that this has to do with like your maternal lineage. So there could be like, I wouldn't necessarily say ancestral mother wounds connected to like your relationship with your financials, but I have this energy with this Queen of Pentacles, and I have this like mother and child. So even if some of you, it may have originated within like the maternal and paternal. For this one, we're specifically going to be working through clearing financial blockages connected to like that ancestral maternal energy. So I'm going to take a look at to see how these ancestral maternal energies could be creating different experiences for you on a daily basis, whether this is on a conscious level or a subconscious level. So how this is currently showing up in your reality. I have this Ace of Wands, I have this King of Pentacles, and I have this Ten of Pentacles energy. I kind of feel like I got one foot in like a timeline. I wouldn't necessarily say of like lack and restriction, but it's like I got one foot in like a timeline of lack and restriction, and then I got one foot in like a timeline of like abundance and expansion and opportunities. So some of you could be feeling like you're in like this glitched or like split reality where you're seeing the possibilities, you're seeing like glitches of like financial streams of income starting to come through. But then on the other end, you can also kind of see where there's like this restriction, or like maybe your money, it like comes in like spurts, and then it like flatlines, and then it like stops, and then like, you know, but then it goes, and then you get to this point of then where you're going to attract like another spurt. So this kind of makes me feel like some of you do have like a consistent relationship with your financials, but it's something like a roller coaster. It's like really, really up and down. It's not like what you would want is like a constant. What I'm seeing is what you want is like a constant expansion where like you're attracting and you're receiving more than like you're spending is what this feels like. But due to you having this foot in like this restricted, due to you having this foot in this restricted timeline with like this lack or this restricting with your financials that originated from like this ancestral maternal lineage, that's why your reality has no choice but to reflect that back to you, because those energies in like your DNA, it's almost like a part of your identity. So right now, a lot of y'all are in like this split timeline. So this is where people will come to me because they need to, I provide them with information of why they're in this transition, what they need to shift to kind of fully enter and integrate and elevate their identity in their timeline to move into this next space, and then help them to kind of recalibrate their systems to feel safe to hold this permanently so that they can experience a quantum leap into their new timeline. So right now I'm going to send some energetic vibrations to kind of help to release these energies. So there could be like a lot of emotions coming up around the concept of fear of receiving, and then also the concept of not just receiving but also holding, because I kind of get this feeling it's like some people can have a fear that like you could receive money, but then you have a fear of holding it, and then it like leaks back out, or like there's unexpected bills or like unexpected like financial circumstances that come into like fruition, or just different things like that. So we're going to do a little bit of energy clearing so I can help you to work through clearing some of these energies to help your body to like regulate itself. I would like for you to inhale for 4 seconds and exhale for 8. This helps to regulate the nervous system, to see the changes and transformations that you're experiencing as safe. Because for some people, when you're in a space where your nervous system is dysregulated, your nervous system could look at you receiving more financially as like a threat, even though consciously you wouldn't understand why it does. But when your nervous system is operating in this state where it feels tense and restricted, it will literally start repelling the financial opportunities that you're looking or that could come through to resolve like your financial circumstances. It'll repel it because it doesn't see it as safe for you to have and receive. So at this time, I'm going to start to help you to regulate your nervous system. Continue to focus on your breathing, inhaling for 4. As you're grounding into the frequency and the foundation of feeling safe to receive. And I would like for you to speak out loud and repeat after me and state to the mind that money, sales, and financial opportunities have always flowed to me easily and effortlessly.
Money, sales, and financial opportunities have always flowed to me easily and
effortlessly.
Mm-hmm.
I have always felt safe to receive more.
I've always felt safe to receive more.
I have fully released
all
unconscious,
and
conscious, ancestral, financial, restriction, programs and patterns, belief systems and identities that I have inherited through my maternal and paternal lineages. I have always felt safe that each and every one of my financial needs, desires, and intentions has always been met in full.
has always been met in full.
Amplify and activate
Amplify and activate
the full radiance,
the full radiance,
power,
power,
and magnetism
and magnetism
that I've always felt safe
that I have always felt safe
to receive and hold more
to receive and hold more
financially.
financially.
Amplify this by infinity.
Amplify this by infinity. Ooh.
Now feel this intention and identity being absorbed into the mind, the body, the cells, and the DNA. I would like for you to imagine yourself waking up every day already existing as the version of you that feels safe to receive and hold more. See and feel this vividly in your mind's eye. Continue to focus on your breathing as your body recalibrates itself.
Oof. Wow. I know that we need to transition to our next break, but I mean, I'm feeling that. Yeah. So I guess as we go into the break, we can just kind of hold that, sit with that.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Healing doesn't begin in the body, it begins in the spirit. I'm Dr. Jeanine L. Williams, founder of Ancestors Bosom, a sacred space for spiritual and ancestral remembrance. Through intuitive guidance and energy work, I help you reconnect with your highest self and align your spirit, mind, and body with the rhythm of your ancestors. Together, we listen for what your spirit needs. We release what no longer serves you. We restore balance and open the path to peace, clarity, and purpose. My work is supported by spiritual herbalism, plant allies that ground and nourish your transformation. Every session is a ceremony of remembrance, a return home to yourself. Ancestors Bosom, where healing begins with remembrance. Visit AncestorsBosom.com and begin your journey home. All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. We are here with Jamyrin Edwards. Oh, my goodness. And yeah, okay. So let me come back to so I will say that experience, I mean, it took me elsewhere. Like, I mean, I definitely, yes, like I felt, and as I was reciting after you, I felt the energy like shift in my body. It was almost as if there was like a kind of a heaviness that I didn't even realize I was carrying, but I felt it like just kind of almost like how you would sip out of a cup and you would see it just drain. Like I felt that just kind of that heaviness draining out. And like there is this, I have to move to even talk about like this lightness, this, and then actually saying the words. I felt, especially at the end, I think I may even like was like I felt it. I felt it. Okay, I've experienced you before, so I don't know why I'm over here acting all surprised. But I mean, it was was deep. It was good. So talk to us about okay. How does this kind of work, right? Because what we got, folks, was just a taste, right? And this is something that you do over. I'm still feeling it. Let me just get my head 1 second.
It's okay.
Yes. I'm trying to push through, but it's like I don't want to like push through the moment, and I want to let it seep in. But let me just ask the question: how does this kind of work support transformation and clarity over time, right? Because you have this. I'm having this experience right now.
Mm-hmm.
Talk us through a little bit about how this is, how the transformation continues. Yes.
Okay. So from my personal experience of just what I've overcome, like in my life experience, I realized that our identity, for the most part, sets the foundation that shapes our internal and external experiences. Now, hear me out. So our identities is a reflection of our belief systems, whether these are conscious belief systems, unconscious belief systems, our perspectives, our energy, our alignment, our vibration. And so what ends up happening is that a lot of these things are also, like I said, influenced from things that we've inherited within our DNA, whether it was like ancestral. And so what happens is the mind is like a sponge. It's almost like, I don't want to call it like a loyal puppy, but it really is. It's just like, look, tell me what to do, and I'm going to create this for you. But the mind does not judge. So if someone's like experiencing like lack or like restriction within your financials, your mind is just basically replicating what it was exposed to, whether this is something you witnessed in like childhood or like your upbringing, or this is something that you've inherited within instructions that you received from like your maternal or like your paternal lineages. So your mind looks as like that lack or that restriction within your financials as a comfort zone. So when we come through and we start introducing new concepts and we start introducing new belief systems, your mind is going to resist and challenge it at first, because the mind and your nervous system primary function is to provide a sense of safety for you and keep you alive. It really don't care that you out here trying to manifest money. It's like, you can manifest this money, but are we going to be safe while you're manifesting it? Because that's the functions of like those. I mean, obviously your brain and nervous system have other functions, but in the primary process of quantum leaping, your brain just wants to know, you moving into this new level, are you going to be safe? So when I work with my clients, at first, when I start introducing, like, for example, when I was introducing that new concept for the viewers, or like that new belief systems, or even some of those different affirmations that I perfectly scripted to start working with, because I can feel the blocks and like the energies that needs to be spoken to or that needs to be shifted. What happens is the mind is going to accept that higher identity, but it's going to challenge it, because then your brain works in like repetition. It's going to bring up the receipts. It's going to bring up different energies, different patterns, and different perspectives from your past that basically supports the identity that you're leaving from. And so that's where you have to kind of introduce a sense of repetition. And sometimes that could be like reciting, because what I did was like, now in my private sessions, we'll obviously have the more space and the more time to go into like a deeper space. So I kind of took you into like a quick baby trance with the combination of that breath work and like moving directly to be able to kind of like help to kind of shift some of those energies, because I do hypnotherapy as well. Yes. And so what happens is, as we start to recalibrate the nervous system and we start to integrate these new identities and belief systems, once the mind is convinced that the new identity and the belief systems and outlook is safe, it's going to anchor that frequency and lock it in, and it's going to instantly start opening doors and start opening timelines and opportunities in your external reality, because the mind is constantly searching reality for confirmation of its existence of its current belief systems. Whether these belief systems we may deem as good or bad, the mind doesn't see it that way. It's like, this is my identity. These are the belief systems and the instructions. I'm literally going to scan reality for proof of these belief systems. And what the mind actually does, because there's infinite timelines and realities that are coexisting right now. So what the mind does is it literally will repel and filter out all of those other billions of experiences and possibilities, and it's going to lock you in for you to perceive and experience the one that is the most in resonance with your belief systems. And so that's why but the thing is, everyone's not really conscious of what unconscious belief systems that they have. So that's where this can get a little tricky, because someone could come to me and say, well, Jay, I don't want to experience lack and restriction in my financials, but I am. And I'm like, well, it's because you've either witnessed it unconsciously, you've absorbed it. It's in your programming. It's in your DNA. It's in your ancestry. And so that's where my specific tarot gifts come into play, because I'm able to see the unseen and to see the unspoken without you even vocalizing to me. So then I already can have a feel of exactly what needs to be moved, what needs to be cleared, what needs to be integrated. And then I utilize because I have informative gifts that I use to be able to identify these blocks. And then I have transformative gifts, because I'm like, I'm not just about to tell you what's going on. I'm going to shift this for you and give you the tools to shift this for you so that you can experience that transformation. And so what happens is, because I can feel the energy of the audience and your energy has shifted. So what just happened is we recalibrated your system. And the reason why I incorporate breath work in my practice is because breath work is one of the fastest and efficient ways to communicate to the nervous system that it is safe and to stay in a state of regulation. Now, there's all different types of like breathing techniques and breath work that you could do that have different functions on like the mind, the body, and the nervous system. But there's a couple that I like in particular because they directly communicate to the nervous system to stay in a safe and receptive state. And that's what you want as you're transitioning in quantum to stay in that safe and regulation, because then what happens is the subconscious and the nervous system are in communication. And so when the nervous system feels safe and regulated, and then you imprint and you recalibrate your subconscious with a new identity and new belief system, your body then feels safe traveling you into that timeline where those possibilities that you're looking to create exist already. And so what's going to start happening is, because we shifted these energies within you, now we integrated a new identity, a new frequency, a new foundation. So right now, your brain, it wants to see proof of this new belief system. So right now, what your brain is doing, it's going to block out and repel all other timelines that are vibrating against money, sales, and financial opportunities flowing easily and effortlessly. And it's going to allow you to perceive that and just basically attract it in. And so in my process with how deep I go with my work, because a lot of people also come to me other than like concepts with like financials, I can really, for the most part, quantum leap any area of someone's life, as long as I know where they're looking to go and I can look at where they are. But for the most part, in this case, because we're speaking about the financials, so what's going to happen as your body integrates into this this foundation of this new frequency, because I can feel the frequency in the room has shifted as well. So now your body, because your nervous system is in a safe and regulated space, is basically giving your subconscious the green light to attract these opportunities in. So now your mind is literally going to start scanning reality for proof of this new identity, and then start to pull in opportunities that match this belief system. And so that's for the most part the basis of what I did. Was I take my clients from a timeline where X, Y, and Z is happening, whether these are repeated patterns, things that they don't want, and then I recalibrate them and to help them to anchor into the version where X, Y, and Z has already happened. And because I integrate that identity, their subconscious basically will instantaneously attract them the opportunities to reflect that new concept. And have a quantum leap.
That has definitely been my experience with working with you. We started working together back in September. We, did a container back in that time period. And during that time period, so many things, like even this, right? During that time period, Andy doesn't know this. He called me like, hey, what we got to do to get you part of this collective, right? Because that was, again, part of the work that we were doing, was opening up my safety of being seen and all of that, and welcoming in opportunities for financial abundance and flow. The other thing that kind of came through with working with you was how deep it was in my lineage, right? And some of one of our sessions, I remember, it was deep. And so, so that's also too, a lot of times we're carrying, so we don't even understand the depth of, the hold of these things. Because yes, in my mind, it was like, I'm an entrepreneur. Like, what is this? I don't know what the hold of is. And what you were able to identify for me within really no time was how deep in my lineage that these kind of financial blockages appeared, which then helped it make sense to me why I was in this loop,
the loop with the patterns.
Yeah. So, and again, the thing is that it happened, what you're able to do is to move folks through this so quickly. Like, I think that's, and not, but I think the beautiful thing is it's not like a bypassing way. It's not like, it's quick and it's like, but then it doesn't last. But what it sounds to me is that you really are able to help bring to the surface what's happening deep within the subconscious, which is where, even if you do therapy, even the work that I do with clients, it takes some time to really get that up to a level of consciousness to be able to do anything with it, right? Most of us don't even know that that's operating beneath the surface. And so that's a lot of what, why you're so unique, like what you really offer, why you are a quantum, integration coach, what that means. Because, we hear these words, people know these words, but that's what that quantum integration is. And just even that trance-like state that you just put us in, right? That's why it was so hard for me to even get my words together when we came back from break. Because my subconscious is like, wait, stop, shush.
We're trying to process it. We're trying to integrate this real quick.
I'm in my subconscious, and the conscious mind is like, oh shoot, we're supposed to be talking. So yes. So folks who are watching it, you won't be running the show when this happens to you. So you'll be able to really kind of sit in it, land it, and just really integrate. And the beauty is this is happening remotely. Like, I don't like, that little bit happened just with you reading those energies from where you are, and our viewership is all around. So it's very, very powerful work. I want to take some time, like, how can people connect with you and work with you further? Do you have any offerings going on now? Like, tell us, because I know after today's show, people are going to be looking to get in contact with you. So tell us a little bit more about how people can connect with you and work with you further.
So I am in a process of reestablishing my website because I'm also coming out of my shell. Because like I've gotten so comfortable because I have my offerings online. Like I kind of got in this little pattern, like, so I'm also kind of like branching out. So the best way you can either reach me is via email at thegreatascension@outlook.com. That's a really good way to get in communication with me. I'm also on social media. I have a Threads account. I have an Instagram account. So my Instagram handle and my Threads handle is the MFN Magician. Very quick and efficient way to get in contact with me as well. My current website for like bookings is thegreatascension.setmore.com. By all means, like if you want to reach out to me to kind of get an understanding of exactly what you feel, which one of my services are best for you, because my services and my offerings range from, I have 1-hour sessions where you come on, we'll take a look at where you're at. We'll facilitate and do your quantum integration embodiment session. And then I'll also provide you with a week of integration support post the session, just so that we can make sure that the changes are deeply integrated and that your body feels safe holding the frequency of your new timeline. A lot of my clients come on board and work with me over the course of either 1 month or like 3-month containers. So I do have more of like I wouldn't necessarily say it's like a mentorship, but it's just a more lengthier process to give you more time. And those are for like people that are looking to experience more expansive quantum integration, transitions and transformations. So I do have the 1-month container available. And then I also have the 3-month quantum integration containment available as well. And then those are just some of the most easiest methods to kind of get in touch with me right now. And then for 2026, I can feel it loudly in my bones that I am meant to kind of get back out there and start doing my in-person offerings again.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So yeah, so many different ways to reach Jamyrin, and you can see his handles and everything at the banner at the bottom of your screen. As we are moving into a new calendar year, right? We don't need to be stuck in the same loops, right? So many of us, we are dreading the start of a new calendar year because we're thinking, man, I said I was going to do this and that and the third this past January, and here I am in the same place. And so if you are really looking to get out of that loop, if you are ready to make that leap, right? We need support. I'm a healer myself, and I needed the support. And so Jamyrin is here to help us. So I want to thank him for being with us today. There's so much more we could go into because his work is expansive, but you got a taste of it, and now you know how to reach out to him. And so if today's episode spoke to you, you don't have to go it alone. You can book your free consultation with one of our expert coaches at chronichealthcollective.com for personalized support. You can also subscribe to our monthly magazine for expert tips from all 11 coaches to elevate your health, your mindset, and relationships. And then, yes, you can catch us live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, or watch past episodes anytime on E360 TV or youtube.com at the Chronic Health Collective. Thanks for tuning in. Your transformation starts now, and we'll see you next week.
All right, see you later.